Don Nelson making his way onto the court and receiving a standing ovation from the fans here at the Coliseum. The scene about an hour and a half ago as Don Nelson made his return to familiar surroundings, greeted by friends and fans and Golden State employees. Don, a popular figure in this area for most of his 8.5 years, and he was a popular guest for the local sports anchors, and during the early warm-ups mobbed by the media here in the San Francisco-Oakland area. Also found time to visit with some of his former players, including Latrell Sprewell, who's made it no secret that he was not a fan of Don Nelson, and the feeling was mutual. So a very warm return for the former coach of the Golden State Warriors. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres, and for the Knicks, it is game number 2 of the 3-game Western Swing. The Knicks coming off the loss to Portland on a Tuesday night, and for Don Nelson, certainly it must be a good feeling in coming here and receiving that kind of reception.
No question, Marv. He has very deep roots here. He wasn't only the coach, he was the decision maker for this franchise, and he had great times here.
All right, the Knicks and the Warriors going through their pregame warm-ups. We'll be back in a moment with the second of this 3-game Western Swing. Back with the starting lineups right after this.
American Express. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. By Delta Airlines, official airline of Madison Square Garden. And by Citibank, for banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
It is a capacity crowd here at the Oakland Coliseum Arena. 15,025 on hand. Has to be strange for that man to be at this end of the court at the visiting bench here as he looks over at his former club, the Golden State Warriors, and Don Nelson making his return here 1 day shy of the first anniversary of the Chris Webber trade.
That was a blockbuster day, and we were here. The Knicks were playing Golden State. It was a very dramatic time, and it's unbelievable, Mark, to think a year later Don Nelson is now the Knicks coach.
All right, we're set for the introduction of the lineups. And your Golden State Warriors. The officials for tonight's game are number 6, Ron Arthur, and number 45, Alan Williams. And now introducing the starters for the New York Knicks. Starting at guard number 11, Derek Harper. At the other guard position, number 3, John Starks. Starting at center, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At one forward position, number 14, Anthony Mason. And at the other forward position, number 34, Charles Oakley. The head coach of the Knicks is Don Nelson. The New York trainers are Mike Saunders and Tim Walsh. And now the starting lineup for your Golden State Warriors. Starting at guard in the 7th year from the University of Texas at El Paso, standing 6 feet tall, number 10, co-captain Tim Hardaway.
And the other guard position in his 4th year from Alabama, standing 6'5", number 15, Latrell Sprewell. Running at center in his 8th year from Syracuse, standing 6'11", number 4, Ronnie Cycli. At 1 forward position in his 11th year from St. John, standing 6'7", number 17, co-captain Chris Mullen. And at the other forward position in his 1st year from Maryland, standing 6'10", number 32, Joe Smith. Head coach of the Warriors, Rick Adelman. Assisted by John Wetzel, Rod Higgins, and George Irvin. The Golden State trainer is Tom Abdenor.
Rick Adelman, who coached Portland to the finals in 1990 and 92. The Blazers losing both to Detroit and Chicago. And there's Don Nelson, who spent 7.5, 8 years here as coach of Golden State. Earlier, John talked with Don about the return here to the Bay Area.
I feel good. I got to see a lot of my friends the last couple of days. That's always nice, and spend some time with my family, and that's always nice.
Don, when you left here, your feelings weren't as good as they are now, obviously. What has helped you get over the feelings of frustration, perhaps, and disappointment when you left here a year ago?
Oh, it's just, I think that the circumstances where we're going through a hard year, and I got physically ill, and I don't want to go hash all that stuff out, but I got replaced, and it was time for that to happen. That happens in sports.
I would have to say, Don, looking a little bit better than he did when we saw him about a year ago.
Yes, Don is a new man, so to speak, after the trying months that he went through before being named Knicks coach.
Well, the Knicks control the opening tip. The replacement officials, Ron Arthur, Alan Williams, both by way of the CBA. Nice pass, and Mason able to convert. Harper picking up Hardaway in the backcourt. We are just underway at the Coliseum in Oakland. Chris Mullen being guarded by Anthony Mason. Latrell Sprewell over John Starks. And the block leading to a late whistle. Apparently the ball was knocked out of bounds by the Knicks. And a new 24 for the Warriors.
Marv, if there is one great advantage for either team in this game, it is the Knicks' physical front line. There is no meat on the Warriors front line. The Knicks should truly dominate the boards. Mason just gave evidence to Joe Smith what could happen tonight under the boards at the Mason end.
And a tough matchup at the other end for Chris Mullen, playing either Charles Oakley or Anthony Mason. Cycli lost it again. And it was tipped out by Hardaway. This is the first of 2 meetings this season between the Knicks and the Warriors. They'll play at the Garden early March. They split their 2 games last season. The Knicks have lost 2 of the last 3 to Golden State. Ewing popping it back out. Harper, who has been playing so well, not able to hit, but Oakley able to rescue. Ewing over Cycli. Played by Mason. Another opportunity for the Knicks. Starks, yes, 3-pointer for the one-time member of the Golden State Warriors, John Starks. Mason on the steal. Starks for 3. Yes, 2 straight for John Starks.
And the beautiful ball movement and headsy defensive play by Mason preceding that second 3.
So the Knicks with an 8-0 lead here at the start. And a foul is called. Foul on Mason reaching in.
It's his first personal foul.
Warriors coming off a very poor effort Tuesday night here at home. They lost to the Clippers 118-106. A game of missed wide open shots. Wild shots from the perimeter. A host of foolish turnovers were called as Hardaway's able to knock down the 3. And lackluster defensive play. And talking with some of the Golden State coaches, that was the major complaint.
Yes, they're almost embarrassed by their recent defensive play.
Starks for 3. Oh, he is on fire here at the start. 3 consecutive shots from downtown for John Starks, and the Knicks open up with an 11-3 advantage.
Amazing. In under 2 minutes, Starks has 9 points.
And a foul from behind called on Ewing.
First personal, second team foul.
John Starks had the hot hand against Utah Sunday night at the Garden. 6 of 9 from three-point land. Best game of the season with 26, but off to the torrid start here in the first quarter. Cycling played by Oakley with some help, and the foul. It's called a hold on Oakley.
One of the threats that Coach Rick Adelman gave to his team after their disappointing defensive performance the other night against the Clippers was that he may take the air out of the ball. The Golden State Warriors with Hardaway and Sprewell love to run, and that certainly suits their skills. But if they don't pay more attention to defense, Rick Adelman, who we're looking at right now, said we may have to slow the game down, and I know that's not how you guys want to play this game.
Rick Adelman played 7 years in the NBA, 3 with Portland, 5 as an assistant coach with the Blazers. Remember him as the southpaw backcourt man? You were following basketball at that stage, weren't you?
I was, Marv. He beat me out of a job, as a matter of fact.
What type of job was that?
Postal worker.
I see. And it Starks again, this time from 2-point range. He has 11 points, and the Knicks are up 13-4. Foul on Starks. Over the first 3 minutes of this first quarter, John Starks with 11 of the first 13 Knick points. Cycling facing the double team. Sprewell off the fake. Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell had one of his better games against the Clippers the other night. Starks getting down in a hurry to feed Mason, but the Warriors able to recover defensively. Illegal defense called against Golden State.
First is a warning.
You look back at last year, a total disaster for this Warrior franchise. 2 seasons back, they were the #1 shooting team in the league. Last year they tied for 11th. Also a very poor rebounding club last season, a record of 26-56. They were next to last in the Pacific Division. Patrick Ewing. So the Knicks once again are getting off to a fast start. That has been the tone in the early part of the season. Foul is called on Hopper.
Well, with Anthony Mason making the good decisions, while Ewing is the beneficiary.
You can see in first quarter play this season, the Knicks been able to get off to blazing starts. 56% with the opponent shooting only 47% from the field, and the Knicks off quickly here tonight. 6 of 8. Starks hitting his first 4. 3 of 3 from downtown, and the Knicks are up 15-6.
The Knicks' challenge tonight, Marv, after their fine opening parts of games, is naturally to sustain this effort and be able to keep up the excellent play for 48 minutes instead of going off as they did the other night in Portland, and as they have in recent games when they've been sparkling in the first half and then surrendering big leads.
The Knicks 15 and Golden State 8. Knicks wind up this Western tour tomorrow night in Denver. And we'll be on hand starting 9 o'clock New York time. Pushing foul on Hardaway. Tim Hardaway, a great fan of Don Nelson, and led to the many splits on this club last year. Hardaway and Sprewell did not get along well. Sprewell unhappy that Nelson traded away 2 of his buddies, Billy Owens and Chris Webber. Sprewell on the rebound. And here is Hardaway. That's a 3 for Hardaway. So the Knicks now lead 15-11.
What an effortless 3 by Hardaway.
And Hardaway with 8 points. Starks was looking for the screen. Ewing isolated against Cycling. Oakley with the rebound. Quick leap by Oakley. It counts and the foul. What a sequence for Charles Oakley. And he'll head to the line. Foul on the rookie from Maryland, Joe Smith.
That's the kind of rebounding that would make this franchise and those associated with it drool. They don't have that kind of inside strength and power that Charles Oakley will demonstrate to you now in the replay. Oakley wisely didn't dribble the ball. He just powered his way up again.
Yes, that one of the many problems of the Warriors last season. A very poor rebounding club. Defensively, only 3 teams allowed opponents a higher shooting percentage. Golden State doesn't block many shots. They don't force many turnovers. The encouraging news, John, is that it can't get any worse than last season. But they've made some good moves. Obviously, the drafting of Joe Smith, the #1 pick overall. B.J. Armstrong, although he has not played well as of yet, comes off the bench. Here is Smith, and Starks looking to run. Warriors get back. Mason setting up down low against Mullen, and the pass picked off by Mullen. Sprewell for the cutting Mullen, rejected by Ewing. Mullen on the save.
That was a right-handed hook attempt by Chris.
Mullen with a nice move on the dribble. Oh, beautifully done. Chris Mullen handling the ball so well. Able to put the move on along the baseline.
That is a unique move to Chris Mullen. Not blazing speed, not big jumping ability, but craftiness is really what makes him so good.
Knicks by 4, 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. Ewing through the foul. Foul on Cycling. Timeout is taken. 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. Golden State Warriors. This is vintage footage. Teammate of Manute Bol, who was able to hand it to John, who played 36 games for Golden State back in '88-'89, averaged 4 points a game. Played here under Don Nelson at the Knick Welcome Home Dinner. The electronic wizard, our director Howie Singer, was able to slip that into the video presentation, and John's teammates went wild watching him perform as a member of the Warriors when that hit the big screen.
Was it because of the move, or do you think it was the attire of the times way back in the 80s?
I believe the reaction was not necessarily in the direction of his moves. Smith with the recovery, but stripped by Starks. And he pulls up for the 3, this time short, handled by Mason. Mason off the fake, powers his way in. The Knicks lead 20-13.
Mason has emerged along with Oakley as a major problem for Golden State under the boards.
Ewing is guarding Smith. Mason on Mullen. Now Ewing on a switch. Cycling being played by Oakley. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Knicks. Take a look at Joe Smith, who goes 6'10", about, 220 pounds, trying to gain weight. Very young. He's only 20 years old. Smith recently admitted, despite attempts to bulk up during training camp, he had actually lost weight. In fact, he dropped to as low as 213 during camp. He's been drinking, as you have, John, special protein milkshakes 3 times a day to help him gain weight. Says they taste horrible. Ewing from long range. Says they're horrible, but I'm going to continue drinking them.
He's got to gain weight, and already we've seen in this game how he's being moved out from time to time under the basket. It's just a matter of time before he can step into it, and it's not going to happen overnight where he can be a force under the boards.
Joe Smith averaging just over 13 a game. He's been up and down, shooting 48%, but the feeling is eventually a no question. Sprewell with the air ball. Cycling on the recovery. Cycling going glass. I don't know if that was the intention, but he will take it. And the Knicks now lead 22-15. Just under 5 minutes left in this opening quarter. Oakley posting up and knocked out of bounds. Combination of Mullen and Smith converging on Oakley. The Knicks come in at 5-2. They are 3-1 on the road, while Golden State 2 up, 5 down on the season. They are last in the Pacific Division. Hardaway pegs it for Mullen. Passed on the 3. Now shoots the 3. And Hopper with the rebound. Mason got himself in trouble. Hardaway racing. Hardaway trying to go behind the back on the fake. And last touch by Harper. Crowd looking for a foul.
Good transition defense by the Knicks after that poor ball handling by Mason. They got back quickly. Boy, if there's anybody who can cause a deflection with uncareful handling of the ball, it's Chris Mullen and his quick hands.
Hardaway, and it's put home by Smith. Joe Smith converts. Hopper going right by Mullen, but could not put it down. And here comes Hardaway. Hardaway for 3. Well, Don Nelson has seen that kind of shooting close up in previous years. It brings the Warriors within 2. 3:45 left in the first. Ewing.
Knicks are allowing Ewing to start out his offense outside.
Now Hopper leading the break. Starks. Nice fake by Starks. So that concludes a 7-0 Golden State run. 22nd timeout called by the Warriors. The Knicks now lead 24-20.
Knicks have been concentrating on having Mason play the low post, setting up the offense and working off him. The hot hands of John Starks got the Knicks the points quickly, but so far Ewing has not gone into his customary low post position, where I'm sure he will be very happy to do, because against Cycli just doesn't have the body, and those two know each other very well, and Ewing always plays with great confidence against Cycli.
Ronnie Cycli spent 6 years with the Miami Heat. This is second season with Golden State. He was acquired in the trade for Billy Owens and Sasha Danilovic. Last year missed 42 games, bothered by the tendonitis in his right ankle. Sprewell backing to three-point territory. Look out. Oakley fires, and what a catch by Starks. A wide receiver going up between the two defenders, and he drew the foul. Nicely done by John Starks. The foul committed by Latrell Sprewell.
That was pretty.
And here comes, as you take another look at the sequence, B.J. Armstrong about to check in.
John soaring to control that basketball.
Hardaway and Smith sit down. Chris Gatling and B.J. Armstrong off the Golden State bench. Gatling will guard Mason. Ewing way off. Oakley had it knocked away and then able to hustle it down. Starks. Mason. And a 3-second violation against the Knicks. Now the Knicks take a timeout with just under 3 minutes left, first quarter.
Brought to you by...
In business, you can't always count on an easy road to success.
Letha looking after Joe. Well, Patrick Ewing off the steal. Gary Grant has checked in for the first time. Grant Starks now in the backcourt. Oakley with Ewing, Mason up front. Oakley puts the move on. Oakley on the rebound. Oakley, will it count? No, he was tied up. Charles has that ability to go up a second and and third time. Very few players can do that. Probably the best in the league is Charles Barkley.
Also, Marv, his ability to contest for the basketball when it's loose. He gets around Mullen, can't finish it off. But this is where he shines. His ability to go after that ball second, third, and fourth times and outreach his opponent.
Ronnie Cycli departs for Clifford Rozier, who has not been a happy guy. He's been out of the rotation recent games, and Rozier picks up the foul, a hold on Ewing. Rick Adelman shuffling his club. Jerome Kersey, who played for Adelman in Portland. New addition to this Golden State roster, has come on for Chris Mullin, leads with a field goal for 2. Jerome Kersey in his 12th NBA season.
You know, the image of Jerome is a guy who's just a monster on a break. Very similar, in fact, the great years of Portland when Clyde Drexler was leading the way. There were many times you couldn't tell one from the other. They were both so similar in their styles and spectacular movement on the court. But it isn't that way anymore for Jerome. He's kind of hanging on now at the end of his career.
Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Sprewell on a quick release. 26-22. The Knicks with the lead. Second field goal for Sprewell. Hardaway high man for the Warriors with 11. Starks leading New York with 13. Ewing putting moves on Gatling. And a loose ball foul against the Warriors. Once again, it is Rozier.
The last several sequences, Ewing has been posting up down low, getting into his power game.
Both teams are over the limit. Oakley to the line.
1 plus the penalty. 2 shots.
For the Warriors, it's the start of a 3-game, 5-day homestand. Saturday home for Dallas. They actually will make it 6 of the next 7 at home, and then a 5-game road trip to follow. Rick Adelman hoping that things can shake loose with this team that has won only 2 of its first 7 games, and they come off that very poor performance against the LA Clippers the other night. Look out. And a foul is called. It's a block or a trip on Grant.
How about Charles Oakley's foul shooting for the season now? He's 20 of 22, leading the Knicks percentage-wise by a lot.
Hubert Davis will come on. And apparently will replace John Starks.
1 plus the penalty.
B.J. Armstrong, one of the better free throw shooters in the NBA, at the line. B.J. spent 6 years with the Chicago Bulls, then exposed in the expansion draft taken by Toronto, and then traded to the Warriors. B.J. the other night only 2 for 7 in 16 minutes. Has not done it with Golden State to this point.
Very hard for him to have the impact he had with Chicago with Sprewell and Hardaway in front of him, and it's unlikely, unless there's some kind of trade, that situation is going to change.
B.J. coming off a disappointing season last year. Remember, he was an all-star 2 years ago. Illegal defense for the second time against the Warriors. And a technical foul awarded the Knicks. Question is who will shoot it, and it will be Hubert Davis.
Hubert acknowledged to be the best shooter on the Knicks from outside, and that's why he got that role. However, just coming into the game now, we'll second guess. Might have been better to put Oakley on the line, who's been on a terrific roll.
And it's nice that you admit to a second guess.
Right.
That's very honorable.
Well, it's certainly called for.
Last touched by the Warriors. We have 1 minute 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Knicks got off to the fast start, led by the shooting of John Starks, then cooled off. They're up 28-24. Ewing struggling here in the first quarter, only 2 of 8 from the field. Ewing to the drop step.
Number 33, Patrick Ewing.
The Knicks 30 and the Warriors 24.
Patrick just jumped over his opponents getting that shot off.
Sprewell trying to rub off the pick. Now uses the screen from Rozier. Changed his mind. Nice pass, dumping it to Gatling, who was fouled by Grant.
Gatling's a very aggressive player. He's not impressive physically, but he's a hustling guy, very active around the boards, and has enjoyed success against the Knicks in recent years. Last year he was a double-figure scorer against New York. In the 2 games they played, they split. And he has bothered the Knicks in the past.
He is number 1, or was number 1 last year in the NBA in shooting at 63%, almost everything from close in, but he has been a high percentage field goal shooter over his 5-year career. Actually one of the few bright spots for the Warriors last season. Knicks lead by 5. Oh, strong move. Grant not able to score on it. Gatling. As I said, usually likes to shoot from in close, high percentage shots by Chris Gatling.
Well, Patrick Ewing couldn't deal with him as Gatling dribbled by him.
Now to 20 seconds remaining in the quarter. Ewing lost it. Ewing fires with the shot clock running down. Oakley almost had a pretty tip. Final seconds of the quarter. Now to 2. Now to 1. Sprewell for 3. By 3.
The difference a year makes. Don Nelson on last season. He points out how wonderful it was the way things worked out for the Warriors. They got a number 1 draft pick. He's a good kid. Everything was wonderful and fine.
Very positive spin here. Very kind words from Don as he looks back. Now this is the scene moments ago. Don never hesitates when there is a point to make to go right at the player, and obviously was unhappy about something involving Gary Grant. Knicks with some substitutions as this second quarter gets underway. Charles Smith has checked in. Smith, Ewing, Mason up front. Grant and Davis at the guards. Open shot for Kersey.
Number 7,
Jerome Kersey brings the Warriors within 1.
Marv, the real power offensively of Golden State is the backcourt. So sure, the words to Grant revolved around defense, helping out, and also doing your own thing, bearing your own responsibility for whoever you're matched up with.
Kersey guarding Mason. Shot clock at 5. Davis with the quick release. Armstrong off the hesitation dribble, able to find Kersey, who fires again. Rozier keeps it alive. Hardaway and Armstrong at the guards. Rozier, Kersey, and Gatling up front. Gatling. And the rebound cleared by Ewing.
Knicks dying to run now. Ewing takes the ball up himself. He didn't have an obvious outlet man.
Derek Harper getting set to return. Strong move by Charles Smith, who again is going without that plastic face mask to protect the fractured nose. He shed it the other night in Portland. Here's Harper making his return. Charles was going to wear the protective mask for a month. That was the plan, but it made it difficult for him to breathe. Charles said it was a distraction, so he's going without it.
Charles also had a very quiet game the other night in Portland in 21 minutes of play, and he seems to body language indicating that he wants to add something quickly now with the minutes he's getting early in this game.
John reading the body language here in the first half.
Well, he put his head down. He had Ewing he could have passed the ball to, but he just wanted to go strong himself to the hoop.
Kersey, you know, I can see a potential book for you, basketball body language. You get into that quite frequently, and are often wrong.
There's a lot to body language, Marv.
Yes.
And I'll tell you where I think it's most interesting, and that is how fans greet players, and it's all based on their body language. We have a foul here.
Illegal defense leading to a technical foul. Armstrong will shoot the tee. John, I didn't mean to interrupt your body language dissertation.
You open the door.
It
for
often
me.
happens too that the game gets in the way, doesn't it?
But you ever notice how fans greet certain players? And it's always interesting to me. And I think a lot of it relates to body language. I really do. And a lot of players play hard, look like they're hustling all the time. They always get the big hand.
These people here pondering the body language of the 10 guys on the floor. You can tell.
I think we have a book. It might be
I think it's a small chapter.
Few pages in it.
I think it's a small chapter for one of those publishing houses that you can actually pay to be published. Nice ball by Gatling. And the Warriors have taken a 32-31 lead. The Knicks have led by as many as 9. A foul on Rozier. That is his third.
Well, from his perspective, he was rocked pretty good when Ewing wanted to set up, and Rozier tried to push Patrick out, and they got into a battle there, and he got the short end of the call. That's what he's frustrated about. He took a beating too.
Watch the body language. Well, Ronnie Cycli has come on for Clifford Rozier. And Ewing goes to work on Cycli. Double team on Ewing. Armstrong came over. Gatling with the rebound. And Armstrong pushes it down. Goes behind the back and is fouled by Ewing. Apparently Harper got him first. And then Ewing came over the top of B.J. Armstrong.
B.J. handling the ball very beautifully here on this play. A little crossover behind the back dribble. So well done. Feeling is he hasn't been performing to expectations, and from his perspective, because he feels the pressure now, he's not getting a set amount of time every game. He's going to get limited shots, limited time on the floor, so he's pressing to make the most of those minutes, and that's affected him. Much like Sprewell has been pressing after an off year last year. He's trying to come back to all-star form, and his shooting percentages have been off, but he's working very hard also.
2-point lead for the Warriors. Knicks have not been able to come up with a field goal the last 3.5 minutes. Grant looking for Smith on a pick and roll. Cycli with the rebound. Kersey running the floor and blows the layup. Kersey a bit too casual on the finish.
Seemed that he left the floor a little early, so he couldn't go to the backboard. What a beautiful pass from Hardaway, a lead pass. And the way the ball was caught, he couldn't really dribble it, so he went to the air.
However, Golden State maintaining possession. Last touch by the Knicks. 3 minutes in, second quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres from Oakland, California. Armstrong. And back comes Grant. Hopper with Hardaway retreating. And again, the Warriors get back effectively. Ewing. Here's Hardaway out of the pack. Armstrong from the same spot. The Knicks on the run. Harper with the ball fake. And it's put home by Mason.
Knicks getting these open court opportunities, but they have to get back to passing the ball a little bit more and sharing it on offense and making the Golden State defense stretch out a bit.
And John, for the Knicks, their first field goal of the second quarter. Gatling to the fadeaway. And a loose ball foul against Kersey.
Loose ball foul, charge to number 7, Jerome Kersey.
John Starks making his return.
Number 3, John Starks returns.
Starks for Grant.
Gary Grant.
Warriors with their third team foul. Don Nelson now with Ewing, Mason, and Smith on the front line. Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. The Knicks opened up on fire, 6 of 8, sparked by John Starks. Since then, only 6 of 25 from the field. And as Harper puts the move on Hardaway, the foul is called. An offensive foul on Derek Harper.
Well, that was some serious defense from Tim Hardaway. Harper trying to back him in, Harper using that right elbow, and Hardaway goes down.
And a couple of guys from the Chicago area talking trash. Hardaway just told Harper to go sit down.
We remember Hardaway last year having a lot to say to the Knicks. He loves to talk, and Harper doesn't like to take that kind of stuff.
Well, Derek at first didn't pay attention, and then it became a bit more serious. Foul on Ewing, who is right in the face of the official, and he's called for a technical. Alan Williams with the technical foul assessed on Patrick Ewing, and the Knicks continue to get hurt by technicals. That's number 12 in this their 8th game. Hardaway will shoot the technical, 87% from the line last season. Tim Hardaway is all fired up.
Well, a couple of reasons for that. The mediocrity of the performance of the team of late. He is a leader. And the presence of the Knicks and Don Nelson for sure.
Ewing departing. And an offensive foul call. Foul on Gatling.
Offensive foul, number 25, Chris Gatling, second personal foul.
Gatling second. Golden State leads by 1. 7:45 remaining to halftime. Grant is back with Harper departing. Grant and Starks in the backcourt. Smith in a crowd. Charles went to the left hand. Nicely done.
Charles Smith.
Knicks lead by 1. Cycling now guarded by Smith. Cycling around Smith. It counts on the foul.
And that's just what happened. He dribbled around Charles. Good aggressive move by Cycling. Charles just allowed him to take those steps. Cycling asking for that basketball, 2 dribbles, and then the strong move by Cycling. Nicely done by him. The Knicks have to go at their end to their inside strength, Marv. That's what Golden State can't deal with. The jump shooting they can deal with, particularly if the Knicks aren't hitting, as has been the case the last several minutes, but they got to concentrate on their strength, which is inside.
2-point lead for the Warriors. And now the point forward, Anthony Mason, handling against Jerome Kersey. Oakley called for steps. Oh, little shove. Gatling and Smith had some words. Gatling shoving Smith. Hardaway all over Smith. Hardaway pushed aside by Oakley, and the official step between.
Hardaway is the instigator here. He's doing too much talking.
Timeout is called. We'll be right back.
Nobody beats the Wiz. We can't promise your work will be any less a grind.
Days of your youth and suit up with the likes of Carter, Flynn, Wine, Howard, Stearns, Youngblood, and more the week of February 4th, 1996. For more information, call Mets Baseball Heaven at 1-800-898-METS. That's 1-800-898-6387.
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Tim Hardaway has certainly been all sparked up right from the opening tip, which I would think means that health-wise he is feeling excellent. Last season, the knee held up, the rest of the body did not. Last touch by the Knicks. 6 on the shot clock. Hardaway comes off surgery on his left wrist. Used his right wrist right there, it should be pointed out, and pushing Charles Oakley.
John Starks helping out, got into a little verbal battle with him also. Starks on the inbound, a nice interception by him.
Here is Smith. Rebound tip missed by Oakley, who was appealing that it was last touch by the Warriors, and gets the call, and a technical foul called on Jerome Kersey.
A technical foul has been called.
Kind of a wry smile being shown by Charles Oakley, which tells me that he didn't necessarily believe that it was last touched by Golden State, and got the call, and that led to the technical.
Well, Marv, he made a sale.
Yes, he did. And Oakley not able to hit the technical.
It's amazing how players, when no one is in front of them on the foul line, miss those shots. Charles banging hard.
Oh, no question. It was last touch by Charles. Excellent salesmanship. Mason drawing the double team. Smith from straight away. And last touch. Let's see, the officials disagree. Starks and Hardaway came together, and they'll jump it up. I get the idea Starks a little amused by the words of Tim Hardaway. Nice, very nice. Nice toss.
If you've ever seen your home Globetrotters play, that's the play. It gets a lot of laughs.
Bad toss again, and the Knicks control. Here's Starks changing his mind, about to go up for the three. Grant. Gary Grant line drives it home to tie the game at 37.
Don Nelson certainly likes what he has seen with Gary Grant's play, going with him early in this game for a sustained period.
John, I believe we've hit the entertainment portion of our telecast with what is taking place on the floor. Thanks for the most part to Tim Hardaway. And the foul, a hold on Starks.
Number 3, John Starks.
John, his second foul.
Second personal foul.
Oh, Charles Oakley just manhandles Starks away from the official. So look at that last jump. A couple of laughs there for Starks.
Starks defending against Sprewell. Grant, very solid defensive player, is going up against Hardaway. Here's Sprewell. 5:20 remaining in the first half. Looks like Joe Smith hit in the eye. Foul on Sprewell. Second on Sprewell. Joe Smith making his way to the front court.
Joe Smith has not had a good time so far in this game.
1 of 4 from the field. 5 rebounds for Smith. Mason lost the dribble off the foot. Sprewell putting moves on. Grant with the steal. Chased by Hardaway. Grant. Hardaway kind of pulled up and then try to do it with the kind of a schoolyard play. You scream at the defender.
What did Grant tell you the other day in Portland? He was in treadmill shape.
Yes.
Not on that play. He looked good.
Hardaway blocked by Grant. That is the third foul on Gary Grant.
Number 23, Gary Grant, third personal foul.
And the Knicks are over the limit, and we will see Charlie Ward very shortly. Charlie not getting the playing time since the addition of Gary Grant. Charlie Ward with some good moments first couple of games of the season, after also showing some positive signs during preseason.
Number 21, Charlie Ward.
Grant picked up that loose basketball a moment ago and took off. Hardaway just checked out at the foul line. Nice finish by Grant with the one hand.
For a substitution, number 17, Chris Mullen returns for Jerome Kersey.
And now Chris Mullen has come on for Jerome Kersey, lead with 2 points.
Chris has been quiet of late. He was off a 4 for 12 game against the Clippers the other night.
Chris bouncing back from another season of injuries. Last year he missed 57 of the first 59 games. Charles Smith giving the Knicks a 41-39 lead. Major problems with Chris Mullen, a sprained ligament in the knee, sprained hamstring, chip fracture of the tibia. Cycling, not good at putting the ball on the floor, and the Knicks can look out. Charles Oakley trying for the save and apparently called for time. What a play by Charles Oakley. Rick Adelman did not like the official call. He felt that Oakley had landed out of bounds. Here's another look at it. Oakley with the yes, he called for timeout. We'll be right back.
So there's 365 days in a year, 250 of
Raul Valdez of Golden State Spanish radio getting very close to the game, John. Now let's see, you put that in there, the engineer right there, and we're back on the air.
All your years in radio, Marv, I bet you couldn't match those moves of Raul.
No question. Raul was very quick to get out of the way. 41-39. The Knicks with the lead. 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Open shot for Smith.
Charles had about 8 feet in front of him. He could have taken advantage of to get a little closer. There is no defense outside for him.
Charles Smith now 2 of 6. Shooting only 39% in this first half. Golden State only 37%. Mullen and Oakley in a physical battle. Shot clock down to 3. Starks. And rebounded by Smith. The lead for Sprewell. Pretty pass from Hardaway. That ties the game at 41.
Kind of play that will make Don Nelson very unhappy. The Knicks just beaten in transition.
Charlie Ward now operating at the point guard position. Ward and Starks in the backcourt. Mason, Smith, Oakley up front again. A long rest for Patrick Ewing. That has been the pattern. Mason. 8 points for Anthony Mason. The Knicks lead by 2.
On that play, no double team came to Mason, so he operated one-on-one.
Mullen off the screen. Mullen, and a foul is called. Foul on Oakley. That is his second.
Charles Oakley is his second.
Knicks over the limit. Next foul will put Golden State in that situation. And Chris Mullen, always a first-rate free throw shooter at the line. This is game 2 of a 3-game Western trip for Don Nelson and his Knicks. Tomorrow night, the Knicks and the Nuggets in Denver. Denver with the triple overtime victory last night in Phoenix. Will be on hand starting 9 o'clock New York time. And then Sunday night, the Knicks are back home for the Vancouver Grizzlies, their first ever visit to the Garden. Here's Ward for 3. Smith on the rebound, and an offensive foul is called.
Charles brought that ball forward into Cycling. Good effort by Charles getting the basketball. Charlie Ward getting the pass. He's got a wide open shot. You can see no one guarding him. Smith with the good effort, then charges into Cycling.
Game tied at 43 as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Sprewell with the head fake and hit by Starks. That is 3 on John Starks, and Hubert Davis being Waved on as Latrell Sprewell heads to the line.
Penalty situation. Number 15, Latrell Sprewell. 1 plus the penalty. 2 shots.
And we will see a rare appearance by Doug Christie. Played only 2 games this season. Here's Doug.
Number 44, Hubert Davis returns.
I tell you, more was expected of both Doug Christie and Monty Williams. They did not have good preseasons. And as a result, they are numbers, take your pick, 10, 11, 12 on the roster. Herb Williams also not getting the time, but that, I think, more due to the rotation. But Don Nelson usually likes to use players in between height players like Williams and Christie, and he did not like what he saw.
Yes, Christie too mistake prone, but loaded with athletic ability.
Knicks into a weave. 10 on the shot clock, and Christie lost it to Mullen. Mullen for cycling. And the Warriors lead by 3.
Another demonstration of the great hands of Chris Mullen.
Mason drawing the double team. Shot clock down to 5. Mason called, let's see, traveling violation, no question. Call for steps.
Yes, he took that little extra hop at the end of the move.
Hardaway being played by Ward. Sprewell looking to post up Christie. Mullen for 3. Good run by Golden State. They now lead by 6.
Mullen appreciated that pass from Hardaway.
Here's Davis, way off, and a loose ball foul against Mason.
Penalty situation. Number 14, Anthony Mason.
And with the Knicks over the limit, the Warriors to the line. 8-0 run by Golden State.
Patrick Ewing getting a long time on the bench now since the technical foul was called on him. He sat for many moments in the second quarter the other night.
1 plus the penalty. 2
Cute
shots.
affection there between Tim Hardaway and Don Nelson.
Tim is just kind of walking around the court, looking to talk to people, very playful. He's checking out the apparel.
He's obviously kidding Nelson about his apparel in an admiring way, I must say.
Is one of those, is that you, Don?
And Don is forced not to engage him.
Out of 30 seconds in the half. Davis had it knocked away. Christie on the recovery. Shot clock at 5. Ward spinning. Ward. Oh, what a shot by Charlie Ward. He had a spectacular move for his only basket of the game against Utah on Sunday on a reverse lay-in. And Charlie Ward with a beautiful spinning drive. 6-point Warrior lead. Final seconds of the half. Christie off the steal. Chased by Sprewell. Christie. So Doug Christie with the steal and the bucket. 0.2 of a second remaining. And that's the end of the first half. And that has to make Doug Christie, who has been struggling, feel very good.
Made Charles Oakley happy. He was applauding at the other end when that happened.
Halftime at the Coliseum in Oakland. An entertaining first half. Warriors 51 and the Knicks 47.
The Maglite flashlight is a work of art that works. A Maglite flashlight is the brilliant gift idea for any occasion.
You've spent your entire life sleeping.
And the Beehive boot. News Sports' John Fricke explains.
Hey, waiter.
14 points. And Tim providing us with some amusing moments, indicating that Don Nelson has made giant strides in the wardrobe department. And getting some laughs from the Knicks bench. John Starks enjoying that moment. Starks high band for the Knicks with 13. Right here, let's check in with Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thank you, Marv. Good evening, everybody. NBA management and representatives of locker
things going early with John Starks handling the ball, shooting it well. And in the second quarter, as it wound down, things changed, though, with the quick hands of Chris Mullin stealing that ball from Christie and Ronnie Cycli running the court well. Those are the kinds of heads-up plays that brought the Golden State Warriors back into it. Knicks moving the ball, though, trying to get open shots early, and they did, with John Starks red hot in the opening moments of the game. You can see they were not defended well, too, when they moved the ball well. Charlie Ward got in the game and made a spectacular shot, as you can see, as the half is winding down. An unbelievable shot by Charlie Ward.
Just want to see if you're paying attention here, John. That was Scooter, the Wonder Dog, and his human pal providing the halftime entertainment.
The highlights continued.
Yes, we'll be right back.
As the official
who, like Chris Mullin, attended St. John's University.
Also, it traces back to high school. Jack McMahon went to St. Michael's High School in Brooklyn, which became Xaverian, where Chris also went and distinguished himself.
It's another fellow, as I recall, who distinguished himself at the same high school, John.
Yes, I followed Jack McMahon's years later. Jack wanted.
I said it was another fellow.
Actually, there were thousands, Marv. I can't get to all their names, though. I thought I'd jump in, though, just to support him.
Foul on Oakley, his third. McMahon, incidentally, was Adelman's first professional coach with the old San Diego Rockets back in '68, '69. And the call against Golden State as this third quarter gets underway.
Offensive foul, number 17, Chris Mullin, first personal.
Offensive foul on the winner of the Jack McMahon Award, Chris Mullin.
Plus, an opportunity to visit Golden State invariably ends up mentioning Jack, who was a beloved figure of basketball in high school and college and professional. And I remember him, Marv, as the backcourt man, the point guard for Bob Pettit's World Championship St. Louis Hawks in 1958.
Solid player. And a technical foul called on the Warriors. Is it Mullin? Personal first on Mullin. What a turnaround for Chris after receiving the award as the most inspirational player. This is part of being inspirational, but he is very upset about the call. And Oakley to the line to shoot the tee.
There was a story in a local paper the other day about Chris Mullin being greeted by one of the NBA current officials, substitute officials recently. And the official said to Chris, "Hey, I saw your brother Ronnie recently in New York." And Chris couldn't understand, and he realized that the official refereed the same game that Chris's brother Roddy played in, an amateur game, and Chris got a little scared. He said, I couldn't relate to my brother playing with an official calling his game and calling my professional NBA game. Shook him up a bit.
Charles Oakley
has one shot remaining.
with one more free throw. Brought the Knicks within two. The Knicks with only 17 points in the second quarter. Well, Charles hitting 3 of 3 at the line, and he's 4 of 5 for the game. 1 point, Golden State lead. Warriors shot just under 43% from the field in the first half. The Knicks hit 40% on 19 of 47. Knicks with a slight edge off the boards, 23-19. Shot clock is at 5. Smith backs up and has to force it. Air ball tipped out by Cycli, and that's the 24-second clock that you hear. Buzzer sounding, and the ball back to the Knicks, who open up the second half with Hart tonight at 4 straight 20-plus scoring games. Smith able to extend. Nice move by the rookie from Maryland, Joe Smith.
Talking to George Irvin, the assistant coach now with Golden State, used to be with the Indiana Pacers for many years, about a move that we just saw by Joe Smith, how he can extend those arms and really cover a lot of ground when the defense thinks they have him contained.
Sprewell. He was expecting resistance from Ewing and shot too hard. Open shot for Harper. Yes. So Derek hitting 2 in a row. Patrick Ewing remaining in the defensive end. Smith. Ewing able to challenge Smith. Starks knocked it away. Starks with the pull-up. Yes. So the Knicks have opened up on fire as they did at the start of the game. Starks was looking for the call of a three-pointer, but it's indicated as a 2. He had his foot on the line, but the Knicks have taken a 57-53 lead. 22nd timeout was called by Rick Adelman.
Ewing was shaken up on that move by Sprewell as he went to the basket. Patrick trying to draw the charge and then hit the floor and then bumped into John Starks, which seemed to shake up Patrick behind the neck area. Sprewell going high in the air. Ewing going down, and then Starks bumping into Ewing from behind. Patrick got up very gingerly.
John Starks with 15 points to lead the Knicks. Patrick Ewing played only 16 minutes in the first half. He sat out the last 7 minutes and 45 seconds of the half.
Similar to Portland when he sat out 6.5 minutes of the second quarter.
Cycli looking for a call. 7 on the shot clock. Down to 4. Sprewell has to pump it. It's a 3 for Latrell Sprewell. 10 points for Sprewell. The Knicks lead by 1. Ewing. Nicely done. A crisp entry pass from Starks. And Ewing with the turnaround jump.
Well, I reckon, Marv, that Cycli sees that move from Ewing in his sleep. How many times has he been the victim of that particular move?
Ewing and Cycli, looking back at their matchups when Ronnie Cycli was with the Miami Heat, they always had very good games against each other. Cycli has really done well against Ewing. Here is Ewing. Mullen with the rebound.
It's an odd rebound from Mullen over Oakley.
Mullen drawing the double team and shoveled it to Cycli. Nice look by Chris Mullen.
That's the pleasure of playing with Chris Mullen. He's always aware of his teammates.
Knicks with a 1-point lead. Cycli poked it away. Hardaway for Cycli. And that's because Ewing remained in the backcourt after the steal to argue about the foul, and Cycli ran the floor.
Too easy, but nobody covered for Ewing as well.
Mason.
The Knicks have lost their sense of team play on offense.
Sprewell hits the 3.
We haven't seen a sequence of 4 or 5 passes before the shot very much at all in this game.
Well, you know, Patrick and I have to work those things out. And I'm probably a little too sensitive about his knees. As long as he can play hard and play well and he's feeling good, why, we'll get his minutes where he likes them. And I think that's 36, 38, and then when I take him out in the first half, we're trying to work out what he feels comfortable with and what's good for the team. And right now it looks like if I could rest him the last minute, 6 minutes or 8 minutes of the second quarter and then just rest him all the way into the locker room. That seems to be what's best for him. And we'll look at that.
And the Warriors with a 65-63 lead. Here is Ewing, and he is fouled by Cycler. So field goes by Hoffer and then Ewing, and then Mullen, as you saw with the jump shot. They give Golden State a 2-point lead, but Patrick Ewing at the line, gunning to tie it.
Derek Harper with the shovel pass to Ewing a moment ago. Ewing enjoys those plays as he runs the court hard. Now at the foul line, the Knicks have got to get back, and they have proclaimed this themselves lately to their intensity on defense, and they haven't done it thus far as a team.
Ewing is 4 of 5 at the line.
In correction of the team foul, the Warriors have
15 points for Ewing, opening up strong in the third quarter, and the game is tied at 65. Nice pass from Mullen, cycling, and it's tipped home by Smith. Look out, bad pass, but recovered by Hoffer. Knicks trailing by 2 with 6.5 remaining in the third. Open shot for Ewing. So Patrick Ewing has turned it here in the third. And the game tied again at 67. Hardaway and Sprewell in the backcourt. Mullen, Smith, and Cycli up front. They double up on Mullen. Smith through the contact and the foul. It's on Ewing, his third.
Mullen again so good with the ball when his teammates keep moving. Talking to Jim Barnett, the television analyst, Marv, before the game for the Golden State Warriors about Mullen's feelings, and of late there's Jim Barnett, ex-Knick player, very exciting player certainly, and loves the game. And Jim was saying how Chris was indicating that he's not happy playing with this particular team. They don't play basketball the way he likes to play. Movement without the ball, using your head, sharing the ball. They have such good one-on-one players, but that doesn't fit Chris's style. However, there have been some nice plays here in the third quarter with Mullen delivering the passes and also his teammates sharing the basketball as well, and that's why they're looking as good as they are right now.
Quite a difference between the performance tonight by the Warriors and what took place against the Clippers. Illegal defense to call. A terrible game for the Warriors here Tuesday night.
Resulting in a technical foul.
Beaten by the Clippers, beaten by 12 points. Oakley will shoot the technical. On the subplot of that game between the Warriors and the Clippers. It was the first time that 2 of Rick Barry's sons, John of Golden State, ran of the Clippers, played against each other. Delay of game warning now called on Mullen. Kind of enjoyed it. Scooter, the oldest son of Rick Barry, and Pam, his former wife, is playing over in Germany. And Drew, who is the youngest at 22, a senior at Georgia Tech. That is John Barry, who's not played tonight. Originally a first-round pick of the Boston Celtics, spent the past 3 years with Milwaukee. And Mason draws the foul.
John Barry was also a ball boy in this arena when his dad used to play here for the Golden State Warriors.
On the Warriors is superior, number 14, Anthony Mason.
And that is not the number of John Barry in retired. That is his dad, Rick, a Hall of Famer.
Rick, of course, couldn't resist a comment in the papers the other day after his son John didn't get much playing time, saying if he did get playing time, he would be, you know, a Havlicek type player. He'd be one of the distinguished players in the NBA if he could get time. Rick has a way of making friends with coaches with those remarks.
It is remarkable, though, to have 4 sons who can play at this level. Mason for Harper, and Harper with the drive. Hardaway from Mullen. Oh, he went to the stump.
Look at Ewing smiling. Patrick enjoying the Mullen stuff. I like that. That's from the Georgetown St. John's days. That was a flashback. I bet he's thinking, Chris, I didn't think you could do that.
Game is tied at 70. Harper, 3-point attempt, and a mix-up between Smith and Mullen. Chris took a shot at the side of the head. So the Knicks get it back with just under 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
Chris and Patrick also Olympic teammates, as fans will remember.
Mason with the shoulder fake, and he shows us the driving hook. Nice move by Anthony Mason. The Knicks lead 72-70. 10 points for Mason. Ewing leads the Knicks with 17. Starks with 15. Mullen. Oakley on the rebound. Knicks on the run. Starks around Mullen. Good recovery defensively by the Warriors. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks once again hitting from downtown. He's 4 of 5 from 3-point land.
Well, that was the Knicks at their best. They shared that basketball and found the open man.
Warriors would like to extend.
The Maglite flashlight is a work of art that works. A Maglite flashlight is the
through every critical step of your
should be the opposite going away from him, but Derek Harper on a steal and a foul shooting opportunity now as he rushes the ball up court. Sprewell came into the league as the 24th pick by Golden State in the 1992 draft. Here's a look at Harper now, popping that ball away.
Oh, he loved that, taking it from Hardaway.
Hardaway didn't protect the ball, and that's when Harper's at his best.
And Derek had some words for Hardaway following the foul. The Knicks have been perfect at the line here in the third quarter. Harper at the line for the first time tonight. And Derek with his 8th point, and all 8 here in the third quarter. Derek Harper, 7 of 12, 20 points in the loss to Portland on Tuesday. His 20-point game, his 4th straight 20-plus scoring affair. And the Knicks looking sharp here in the third quarter, extend to a 7-point lead. Very animated matchup between Hardaway and Harper as Hardaway spins but came up short.
Good pursuit of that basketball by Ewing, reaching out for it.
Mason met by Smith. Mason looking to use his strength on Smith, came up short. Oakley on the recovery. Charles Oakley very quick to the ball, and he has played well. Knicks now lead by 9, matching their biggest lead of the night.
Charles bulled Chris Mullen right out of the way.
Mullen, that was a 3-point attempt. One-handed rebound. What control by Mason.
And what position by him.
Harper with the step. Harper, yes. Derek Harper with the running one-hander. 11 for Harper, all in the third, and the Knicks lead by 11. 11-0 run to take the 81-70 lead. They've hit 11 of 16 from the field here in the third quarter. Rick Adelman with changers. Kersey, Gatling, and Armstrong have checked in. Here's Kersey. And a foul. Warriors want a goaltend. Foul on Starks. John hitting the floor in reaction. Helped by Derek Harper and Kersey to the line.
Gatling getting 4 Knicks around him. Ewing slopping the shot away. Kersey gets the call in his favor.
Don Nelson always concerned when John Starks goes off from an emotional point of view, and John Starks just motioned over to Don Nelson that he's okay. He's settled down. He's gotten it out of his system. He certainly does not want to be yanked, particularly the way he is shooting. 81-72. Knicks with the lead and the ball. 2.5 to go in the third. A gorgeous move by Harper. He's taken over in this third quarter. 13 points. All of his 13 tonight here in the third.
You mentioned Starks is shooting. He's currently 7 for 10 for the game.
Kersey with the open shot. Knicks do not mind seeing Kersey take the outside shot. Fouls called on the Warriors. Gatling on the loose ball affair. And Golden State over the foul limit.
Mason doing a good job under the boards. Drew that foul. He'll go to the line now.
Number 14, Anthony Mason.
Mason is 2 for 2 at the line. Another strong all-around game for Anthony. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists.
Number 23, Gary Grant.
And here's Gary Grant.
3, John Starks.
Replacing John Starks. 7 of 10, as you mentioned, for his 18 points. He has hit 4 from downtown.
But he's not happy. He's mumbling about something. I think John reflects on whatever imperfections he feels he showed in the game, and he which is good in a player. He's not thinking about the good parts. He's concentrating on what he has to get better at.
Warriors with only 1 field goal the last 5 minutes. Forced by Sprewell. Able to knock it down. 15 for Latrell Sprewell. The Knicks lead is 10. Harper and Grant in the backcourt. Ewing, Oakley, Mason up front. Ewing with a strong third quarter, but Sunkily poked that one away. Armstrong. Kersey. Well, the follow by Kersey brings the Warriors with an 8.
It's a problem for Ewing when he puts the ball on the floor. All defenders know that they can go in and bother Patrick when he does it, and that's usually the source of his turnovers.
Oakley able to recover. Shot clock down to 4. Down to 2. Ewing had to force it. And here comes Armstrong, leading Sprewell. The Knicks 84. Golden State 78. 40 seconds to go in the half. Harper with a beautiful crossover. Yes, and it counts.
Basket is good.
Derek Harper is showing us the entire repertoire here in the third quarter.
Just a remarkable individual performance by Harper.
11, Derek Harper.
All 15 of his points here in the third. For one of the ball boys.
Marv, I note Mason is working on a 48-minute performance tonight.
Anthony Mason upset the other night in Portland when he was taken out of the game, and you saw the reaction from Mason was rumbling after the game about Don Nelson's rotation, but he played 46 minutes, and Here's Rozier dumping it off. Nice play. And Smith on the reverse. The players will always complain about favorite word in the NBA, rotation.
Mason's complaints revolved also around the team not digging hard, keeping the opponents down when they had them on the run. They felt that they let Portland up.
Sprewell draws the foul. Warriors showing some signs here. Grant picked up the personal.
Well, here's the exciting move of Joe Smith we saw a moment ago. Ball moving inside. Smith finding himself under the basket. So he did what anybody 6'10" with great jumping ability and balance would do, and stuff it in over his head. Smith only played 2 years at Maryland before he came out and enjoyed the #1 position in the draft last spring.
Joined David Thompson and Ralph Sampson as the only sophomores to ever be named ACC Player of the Year. We saw Ralph Sampson make a cameo in that commercial heralding the Don Nelson era here in the Bay Area. Sprewell, an 87% free throw shooter. 96-88. Knicks with the lead. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. Grant using the screen. Grant, yes. Gary Grant has hit 4 of 7 from the field. He has 8 points. Smith throwing it into a crowd and was last touched by the Knicks. Golden State with 15 on the 24. Kersey inbounds. Sprewell claiming it was hacked, did not get the call. Sprewell continuing the discussion. Ewing going at Rozier. Oh, he took a shot. Rejected by Rozier. Open opportunity. Sprewell off the mark. And back comes Grant. Knicks with the ball and a 10-point lead. Rozier forcing Ewing outside, forcing him off the block. Grant got a little too shot happy off the recent success. Smith, yes. Charles Smith. And the Knicks lead by 12. Warriors call for time.
A 12-point lead now with 6:42 to go in the game. They're looking forward to a flight tonight over to Denver. Our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule tomorrow night at Denver, 9 o'clock start on MSG. Sunday, the Knicks return home to face Vancouver. 8 o'clock start on that one. MCS Cannon game night preceding Sunday night. And then the Knicks will move along to Cleveland the day before Thanksgiving.
6.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the Knicks with a 12-point lead. The foul is called on Charles Smith. That's 4 on Smith. And there is a man we were talking about moments ago, Rick Barry, Hall of Famer. And his son, John, member of the Golden State Warriors. Rick sitting alongside the former owner of the Warriors, Franklin Muley. He was the owner when Rick Barry led Golden State to the NBA championship back in '74. 75. Fouls called on Harper.
Number 10, Tim Hardaway.
Or rather on Hardaway. That's Franklin Muley.
Team foul of the period.
Alongside Rick Barry.
Rick Barry is a guy who never changes. He looks like he could get out and play right now.
And if you asked Rick, he would say that is correct.
And he'd love to teach somebody how to shoot foul shots underhanded as well.
Well, he had his major pupil, who we have seen a number of times in the New York area, George Johnson, who was a center on the club. Ewing The basket counts and the foul. What a shot as Rozier commits number 5. So Ewing to the line. George Johnson went the underhanded route and certainly improved his free throw shooting.
Tough move by Ewing, the fake. He gets the shot cleanly and the foul. Saw Big George at the Garden recently. You mentioned that, Marv. He was there last week. A very pleasant guy, and he stays close to the game.
Remember that club, Alfred Butch Beard, now the head coach of the Nets, on that team along with Phil Smith and Eric Dickey and Keith Wilkes, Bill Bridges, Clifford Ray. Al Attles was the head coach. He's still with the Warrior organization. Foul on Hardaway.
Number 10, Tim Hardaway, 4th personal foul.
4 on Hardaway. The Knicks turning it around in the second half. 59% from the field, and Derek Hopper has just taken the game away from Tim Hardaway, who was doing a lot of talking, entertainingly so, in the first half. And Derek was not pleased by it at one point, and he has outplayed Hardaway here in the second half.
He's done his talking with his tremendous play, and now if he makes his foul shot, will hit 20 points for the 5th straight game after 0 at the end of the first half.
The Knicks lead 105-88. Here's Hardaway, and he is fouled by Hopper.
Number 6, Charles
now they say Smith. Fans filing out early. Still 5.5 minutes remaining. Unsportsmanlike technical foul was just called on Tim Hardaway, who apparently had something to say to the official. And it was Hardaway who drew the foul. He was about to go to the line. Instead, a technical first will be taken by Charles Oakley, who was 7 of 9 at the line.
The official may end up throwing him out because he hasn't stopped talking either.
He has been hyper, even for Tim Hardaway. Cycling back, replacing Rozier. Hardaway still involved in a conversation with the officials, Ron Arthur and Alan Williams. It was Arthur who hit him with the tee. And Tim Hardaway has struggled in the second half. He had 14 points in the first half, has not scored here in the second half. '89 Knicks. Ewing, played by Cycling. Looking for Grant. Hardaway all over him. And the foul. It is on Hardaway.
Number 10, Tim Hardaway.
That is number 5.
5th team foul of the Warriors in the period. Penalty situation.
Gary Grant has had a solid performance. 19 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 8 points.
This has not been the kind of performance, though, that turned off the fans here of the Golden State Warriors on Sunday. The Warriors tonight have not been lackluster or lacking effort. They're just outmanned.
'108-89. Knicks with the commanding lead. Smith for 3. Joe Smith showing he can shoot the long-range shot. That is his first NBA 3. We are just under 5 minutes left in this fourth quarter. And Smith run into. And that is number 6 by Tim Hardaway. And then has some parting words for the official, Ron Arthur, and now takes the ball with him. And Tim Hardaway has not had a pleasant evening. Knicks looking for a delay of game or a technical. It is a delay of game. Now we get the call, and that is their second, so it leads to a technical foul.
Tim Hardaway's had the full gamut of emotions tonight. A lot of smiling with Don Nelson and Derek Harper, who he was inciting in the first half. Now a lot of unhappiness. But when you get right down to it, the basis of his unhappiness has to be the performance of Derek Harper.
Charles Oakley able to hit the tee, 8 of 10 at the line, rather 9 of 11 at the line for Charles, with 15 points, 10 rebounds, an excellent all-around game.
Well, if you recall last year, we had a chat with Hardaway, who on the day of the game against the Knicks had a lot to say, which got headlines in the San Francisco papers as Hardaway was really diminishing and kind of insulting Derek Harper's defensive abilities, and ended up at the end of the night, as you recall, we chatted with him. He was kind of apologizing for the way it was interpreted, and he didn't mean any harm, but he drew a lot of attention with that.
The Knicks with a 111-92 lead with 4.5 remaining, fourth quarter. It's Don Nelson counting off the 24-second clock. Armstrong off the steal and lost it. Grant saw Smith cutting but decided to hold back. Knicks using the clock here in the final minutes. No rush to get the shots up with the big lead. Smith, and back comes Armstrong. Armstrong.
Knicks looking to control the pace now and not rush into their offense.
Foul given by Sprewell.
Sprewell commits his fourth personal foul.
And it will lead to substitutions. And there is John Barry making his first appearance. Rick's not leaving, is he? Saying goodbye as John enters. What's going on here, John?
Well, looks like a dramatic departure.
He may not have realized that John was stepping out of the court. The Knicks with a 15-4 advantage the last 4 minutes. Wait a minute, Rick. John just entered the game.
What kind of a dad are you, Rick?
So there's John Barry. Checked in along with Danielle Marshall, who has not played tonight.
This franchise gave up Tom Gugliotta to Minnesota for Marshall.
Marshall received the playing time last season. Interim coach Bob Lanier had his roster decimated by injuries, and Marshall was in the starting lineup. Down to 3:20 remaining in the game. Armstrong rejected by Smith. Charlie Ward, who just checked back in, able to push it down, gets the return, and then finds Oakley, but the Knicks will regroup. Oakley guarded by Marshall. Harper, air ball, fielded by Cycli. And here's David Wood, who just came on for Danielle Marshall. And Charles Smith with the rebound. Don Nelson about to send on Monty Williams, who has played only one game prior to tonight. A very happy return to the Bay Area for the former coach of the Warriors, Don Nelson. Final seconds of the shot clock. Ward gets inside.
That didn't elude Derek Harper, who got him the ball.
115-92. Cycli spinning and foul. Monty Williams, Doug Christie will come on with 2:15 remaining in the fourth quarter and a timeout taken.
The Rangers take on Teemu Selanne and the Jets tomorrow at 7:30 on MSG2.
You've spent your entire life
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Knicks lead 115 to 94. John, did you realize that today is the day of the great American smokeout? You know that?
I live it every day, Marv, but I didn't know that, no.
Although I don't smoke, I did recognize the occasion by giving up smoked salmon today.
Very, very,
just want to point that out.
I guess that was a joke.
24-second violation.
Placing number 4,
Ronnie cycling, sitting down.
I'm laughing now, Marv.
What are you getting at?
Seconds.
What are you getting at?
No, nothing. I do want to point out, though, that the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, had a 4-point lead in the half, and they have been outscored 68 to 43 in the second half by the Knicks.
Wood. And rebounded by Monty Williams. So the Knicks now with Smith, Williams, Davis, Christie, and Ward on the floor. Shot clock down to 3. Christie to the fadeaway. And rebounded by Marshall. Just under 1 minute remaining in the game. And a reach-in is called on Monty Williams. So the Knicks will go to a record of 6-2 and a triumphant return for Don Nelson on this game 2 of a 3-game Western trip. Warriors will go to 2 up and 6 down.
Another nice sideline note about the Knicks win tonight. It will give them their 4th road victory of the year.
4 wins and 5 road games. The lone loss coming the other night in Portland. And the Knicks looking to the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night in Denver. Down to 40 seconds to go. This crowd has been filing out the last 5 minutes. There's Charles Smith hitting the 3.
Number 6, Charles Smith.
14 for Smith. And the Knicks lead 118-95. Last touched by Christie. It will be a very pleasant charter flight from Oakland to Denver. The Knicks with a 40-point third quarter that included an 11-0 run. We're down to 15 seconds remaining in the game. Wood. Rozier.
Rozier. The assist, David Wood.
118-97. And a foul, and Monty Williams is shaken up. Monty Williams hurting his right hand with 10 seconds to go.
Number 3,
Donyell Marshall called on the foul, and Monty Williams to the line.
Patrick Ewing becoming very involved with WFAN's Mike Breen right now. I think he's trying to distract Mike. Or maybe wanting to do a little commentary the way Patrick is smiling.
Down to 10 seconds remaining. And this will wrap it. Knicks very anxious to make their way to the locker room. So the Knicks have defeated the Warriors 120-97. Balanced scoring by the Knicks, who are able to turn it around in the second half. Hopper 22 points, Ewing with 20, Starks with 18, Oakley with 15. We'll be back to wrap it. Don Nelson coming up with a victory in his first game as head coach of the Knicks back here in Oakland. We'll be right back.
This holiday season, don't let a fortune
against tough Arturo Gatti. Brooklyn's undefeated heavyweight Shannon Briggs takes on Mitch Blood Green. Also on the card is Eric Butterbean and former Giant safety Adrian White. It all happens Friday, December 15th at Madison Square Garden. Tickets on sale now at the Garden box office and all Ticketmaster locations.
Well, the Knicks have defeated the Warriors 120 to 97. Don Nelson making his return to the Coliseum here in Oakland. This is the scene earlier tonight as Nelson got off the bus, returning to familiar surroundings, greeted by friends and fans, employees of the Golden State Warriors, and then spent some time with the local sports anchors, San Francisco and Oakland, during the early warm-ups, also surrounded by the media, and greeted some of his former players, even Latrell Sprewell. He and Don not on the same wavelength at times last year, and then enjoying the victory here tonight against his former team as the Knicks were able to turn it around in the second half. And one of the keys to that turnaround, Derek Harper blanked in the first half, but then with a strong second half, all of his 22 points in the second half. And Derek is with John.
Thank you, Marv. Derek Harper, an unusual game. Your team was down by 4 at the half. You missed a 20-point-a-game of the last 4 games. Coming in tonight was scoreless. And what turned this thing around so dramatically?
Well, I think anytime you struggle a little bit in the first half, I don't think I really struggled. I just didn't really get a lot of looks at the basket. Got into foul trouble, had to sit down for a little while, and just sort of gathered myself and came back out and really got myself into the game in the second half.
It was interesting that you didn't try and go to long-range shooting. You were driving the ball very effectively, which said a lot about the internal defense of Golden State.
I think it's important to mix it up. You know, I've been shooting the ball pretty well. I feel comfortable and confident in my shot right now, and I just think you have to do a good job of mixing up driving and shooting the shot, and I was able to drive and create some positive things tonight.
Derek, was there a special feeling with the team tonight because of Don Nelson's return?
I think so. I think anytime you come back and a coach has coached in an arena, I think you definitely want to come out and try and give that coach a victory. And we did that for him tonight. He was excited about winning.
There was also a special feeling between you and your opponent, Tim Hardaway, as there was last year, we recall. Tim had a lot to say, made the headlines, and tonight he got into it early, and you made a very interesting statement with your play. Did he try and motivate you with his mouth?
Well, Tim does talk, you know, and I think we all do from time to time. I can't say that I don't always talk, but I think you can take it a little bit too far sometime, and maybe he, you know, stepped out of bounds, took it a little bit too far, and it backfired on him tonight.
Derek, the feeling was in Portland the other night after the game when your teammates were reflecting on it that the team didn't keep the heat on Portland when you had them down. Is that something what the Knicks were trying to reverse tonight?
I think so. I think you have to, more than anything, when you get a lead, you have to do the things that get you your lead. And I think we sort of got away from that in the Portland game. That's a game that we should have won, but it's behind us. And, you know, we were able to get this one, and this is another way to start up a winning streak for us.
Very solid game for your team, of course, Derek, and yourself with a tremendous all-around game. We'd like to present you with this gift check from American Express. And we hope you enjoy it and continue your fine play. Thanks for the visit.
Too. I appreciate it.
Let's go back to Marv Albert.
Hello, Marv.
Thank you, Derek. Derek Harper with a very strong second half. 2 of his 22 points. And Derek is our Hoover player of the game. 7 of 13 overall, 10 assists along with the 22 points. We'll be back with more from Oakland in a moment. The post-game report, and we will hear the remarks to the media from Knicks coach Don Nelson. So that wraps things up for this portion of our telecast. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Oakland Coliseum Arena. Back in a moment with the post-game.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By Foot Locker, where it all begins. By the Discover card. It pays to discover. The card that pays you back. By Hoover, the #1 name in floor care. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. And by the United States Postal Service. We deliver smart solutions for you.
Here's you. Shot. Nice give and go. Boy, what a beauty. Hey, hey, hey. You get me stronger. You're gonna feel it too.
I want to take you higher. Next on MSC will take you higher.
Look out.
Boom, laka, 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 boom, laka, laka, laka.
The New York Knicks post-game report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Well, John, that catchy music, the indication that the post-game report has begun here in Oakland. We welcome you back. Marv Albert along with John Andres, where the Knicks have beaten the Warriors 120-97. The Knicks doing it with a terrific second half. They turned things around, even at the foul line, going 26 of 27 at the line in the second half.
Yes, it all changed dramatically, but Harper put on an amazing show in the second half, and that inspired his teammates, and it rubbed off as everybody got into a high level of play.
And the Knicks receiving balanced scoring. Good effort from a number of people. They started fast. John Starks hit the three-pointers, hit 3 from downtown in the first couple of minutes, 11 points first 3 minutes, and then hit a cold spell. The Knicks have been getting off to fast starts, lost it in the second quarter, and able to recapture the touch in the third.
When they started sharing that basketball too, Marv, things got better for them as they made the defense stretch out and they started hitting their shots, and they really got into their very up-tempo style of game. They took over. They controlled the game. And boy, when you look at this as their 4th road win, why, you have to think that Don Nelson's got to be very pleased early in the year to have this kind of success away from home.
John, I hate to bring it up, but the special policeman behind me is squeezing my finger against Cher. I'll be all right. It's okay.
A very important part of our postgame.
Let us take a look at the leading scorers. Derek Harper with 22. Patrick Ewing, 20 points. John Starks, 18. Charles Oakley, 15. Charles Smith, 14. Just a solid all-around effort as the Knicks end up shooting 47% in all. And the Knicks also did it off the boards against a weak rebounding team and the Golden State Warriors. Golden State led by Latrell Sprewell, who had 19 on 7 of 15. Tim Hardaway with 14 points in the first half, so he was very quiet in the second half. 14 apiece for Smith and Cycli. Chris Mullin with only 9 points in 26 minutes of playing time, and Warriors end up shooting 43% from the field. Very entertaining first half for Tim Hardaway, who was checking out the threads of his former coach Don Nelson. We'll hear from Don in a moment.
The New York Knicks post-game report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
I have to go to the bank. You know, I started at one bank and they merged with another bank. So I left Bank 2 and I went to Bank 3.
Did you make a left?
Get this, Bank 3 merged with Bank 1. So I'm back where I don't know them and they don't know me, and I didn't want to